John, we last talked with you about 6 months ago.
Wow. It's been a long year in the past 6 months.
Tell us about it. What's been going on with Altius Space Machines and with Jon Goff?
Okay, cool. Yeah, we've 6 months ago we were just getting started with our sticky boom technology. We had a NASA SBIR contract that we had started, and we just demonstrated, built a demo unit that we had shown in DC and then there at Space Access. And over the past 6 months since then, I had an opportunity come up in June where if we had the technology far enough along, we could get on a big contract proposal with a large partner. And so we decided to build another flight unit, build an actual flight demo unit that had a new boom, composite tubular boom that we could use that was better than the one we had before. Better for terrestrial demonstration than the one we had before. Newer gripper design that could actually, like the previous one was a fixed geometry thing that could just pick up cans. This one is more general purpose. It could pick any axisymmetric object up. And we were doing this SBIR research for the NASA Mars Sample Return mission. And so we decided to do a flight demonstration on a zero gravity plane to demonstrate grabbing a spherical target about this big, about 10 inches across, which would simulate the target used in the Mars Sample Return mission. So from the day that we decided to do this, we took about 4 weeks from when we decided to go ahead to raise the money, build the thing, and get it on the zero-G flight. And I was one of the 2 guys on there. And as CEO, my job was to drop the ball. Mike Judson, who was one of our engineers, was the guy steering the thing. You've probably seen it in the YouTube videos. And it was an interesting experience. I mean, not just for what worked, but also for what we learned about what didn't work. And a lot of people have asked questions about the video. And the thing that we learned was that we got several captures in spite of only having a couple of chances to do it. But we really learned the importance of things like contact dynamics and sequencing. We had this manually controlled flight system that was using a Nintendo Wii joystick for controls, and neither of us had any video game experience worth mentioning, and and it was useful. It flushed out a whole bunch of the engineering issues that we're now going to be able to focus on in our Phase 2 SBIR to make something that's just dead reliable, and so that was extremely useful project. Since then, we were able to get on a proposal team with one of the primes because of that. And since then, we just finished the SBIR work. We did some thermal vacuum testing. So you're trying to test if an experiment will work in the temperature ranges and in the vacuum ranges you see in space. And we'd originally intended to do just a fairly low fidelity thing using a small vacuum chamber that we were going to build ourselves. But we were able to work a deal out with Lockheed Martin down in Waterton Canyon, where they got us into a really awesome thermal vac chamber that they built for the Viking program. I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's like the size of one of those little submersibles. And it was just absolutely perfect because you may have seen, if you've seen some of the pictures, actually I'm not sure how many I put up on the website yet, but this chamber had these old manipulator arms. It's like a robot arm that was entirely mechanical, but it helped a lot. And just once you've closed the vacuum chamber, you don't want to open it again because it takes like 30 minutes to pump down. And we were able to set up and just do a very long day of experiments. Got in over 60 tests, and the results were great. We learned a lot about the system. Every single one of the pull tests we did would have been more than adequate for the Mars Sample Return mission. The ambient temperature tests, like we were getting pull forces enough that we could, jerk this target around like crazy, like you would never actually need to do in space. And even at the cold and hot temperatures, it worked great. We learned a lot. Got a good chance to work with their team. It was pretty neat, and Lockheed's been really supportive of that. And so since then, we got some proposals in for a phase 2 follow-on contract for that, where we would, actually build some, set up some air bearing table tests where we would be testing the contact dynamics in a way that's a little cheaper than a zero-G flight, kind of two-dimensionally. So they make these tables or floors that you basically have. It's almost sort of like a little mini hovercraft that you put your object on, and so it gets rid of the friction, so you can have things glide. So it acts sort of like in space at slow speeds, where you don't have, where inertia is your main concern, inertia and momentum. And so we're gearing up for that, and right now we're working on some of the boring details that are important for a technology company. Like we're working on filing some key patents and doing some, digging deeper into some market research. Oh, but I skipped the interesting part. Or I skipped one of the most interesting parts from a business side is, backing up to right after we did this flight demonstration, we built this thing. We're getting lots of interest for many different applications from some fairly big aerospace companies and also from some smaller ones. And we realized that the challenge we had is it was still, we were still having a hard time telling exactly, what is the company doing? We were doing sticky boom, but what customer need were we trying to fill? What's the business plan? How are we going to turn this into something that can make money for investors and bring a product all the way to market? Because an idea is great, but a product on the market's actually making a difference in the world. So I suggested to my colleagues, why don't we try doing a business plan sprint? We've done 2 technology sprints now, where we've built hardware prototypes very rapidly. What if we take all the momentum we've been getting here, all the interest we've been getting here, and try to figure out what really is the best commercial market for sticky boom? And initially, everyone was kind of burned up for the technology sprints, but then when the Space Frontier Foundation announced that the prize level for the NewSpace business plan competition was actually getting to a size that was fairly respectable, we decided, let's go for it, because...
And that was $25,000.
$25,000. I mean, that makes a difference for a small company, And so we decided to go for it, and it's like, it wasn't one of those where we're counting on winning. We just wanted to make sure we could get into the finals, and we wanted to get in front of, some of these people who are talented VCs and angel investors and get their feedback. Get an idea that gets some whole shot in it so we can make it stronger and make it better. So going into it, I wasn't, we wanted to do our best. We wanted to learn as much as we could. And sure, we were interested in the money, but I had no expectation going in that we were going to win this thing. And it was a great experience. We learned a lot. We went into this with a presentation that was our best effort going in, with the business plan and the presentation, and got some very good, solid feedback that made me rewrite the whole thing the night before the pitch and stay up late practicing it. And in the end, I was pretty darn happy with it. I'm terrified of public speaking. Speaking in front of a camera, I can handle that. Speaking in front of large numbers of people is just absolutely terrifying for me. But it went well. I was happy with my performance. It's like there's still tons of room for improvement on the business plan, but...
Well, you won.
Yeah.
You won first place.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like, I cared more about how were we honestly doing. It's like, because you can win first prize in a competition and still not guarantee that you're actually going to succeed in the marketplace. And that's what I was more focusing on is, how can I leverage this as much as possible to learn what I need to do to, I'd taken business classes as a student and stuff, but this is actually really putting it to practice